My name is Miss Morton. This project is for my classes, Miss Maynard's class and Miss Huber's class. We're getting ready to do our paper pet project. Now this project has actually 5 parts. Part 1, 2, 3, and 4 need to be done by Friday. We'll do the 5th part, which is the reflection, on Friday in class together. Part 1, we're going to do the parent generation. Part 2 is going to be the F1 generation. Part 3 will be the F2 generation, and Part 4 we're going to be designing our poster to turn in. All right, what we need to know is there's a couple words that you need to be familiar with. The first one is genotype. Genotype are the letters of the trait. Phenotype are what the trait looks like. And heterozygous means that the 2 letters are different. Homozygous means that the letters are the same. They're either both capital or they're both lowercase. All right, so let's go ahead and let's go on to part 1. Okay, let's go ahead and begin. So here we are, we're on part 1, the P generation. What you need to do, here's the first thing you need to do. Notice that there is this data table right here. What I need you to do is I need you to create another column in the data table. And so just create it like this, okay? And this is going to be where your genotype is. These are the letters, okay? So what I want you to do is, let me make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. There you go. What I want you to do is I want you to just circle the trait you want. You get to choose between blue or yellow, so choose the one that you want and circle it. Next one, the eyes can be round or square, so go ahead and circle the one that you want. The nose can be triangle or round, so circle the one that you want. Teeth can be square or pointed. I want pointed teeth, so I'm going to circle that one. Now, you have to have at least 2 things in this column and 2 things in this column. So make sure that when you're choosing, you have 2 things here and 2 things here. Next, you have blood type. You have 4 types of blood type. You can have A, B, or O. I'm going to go with A because that's my blood type. Next, you're going to have to tell me the gender. If you're a girl, you are going to write XX because you are a girl. Okay? If you are a boy, you're going to write XY because you are a boy. Okay? Now what you're going to do, if you look over here, it says you have to have 1 homozygous dominant trait. Remember, homozygous dominant means 2 capitals. You have to have a homozygous recessive trait, which means 2 lowercase. And you have to have a heterozygous trait, which is a capital and a lowercase. We are going to use particular letters for...
Yeah, 3 minutes.
I can do it in 3 minutes.
Okay.
You ready?
Yep.
Had a chance to go ahead and do this. Now all you're going to do is your Punnett squares like normal. You take the first parent, put it on top. You take the second parent and put it on the side. And remember, Punnett squares go like this. So that's 2 capitals, 2 capitals. It's a capital, lowercase, capital, lowercase. So you're going to do that for each one. And then here you're going to write all the possible genotypes. I have a 2 capital. I have 2 capital. I have a capital lowercase, capital lowercase. Now I'm just going to write the phenotype for each one. This is dominant because this is a capital letter. So I'm going to look at my list. I know that's blue. That's blue. Also dominant, blue, and blue. And so that's what you're going to do for every single one of these. You're just going to go ahead, parent 1, parent 2. Do your Punnett squares, list your genotypes and your phenotypes. When you finish that, you will be done with that next section, part 1, parent generation. I'm going to give you a minute to do that, and then we're going to go ahead and get started with part 2. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started with part 2. What you're going to need for part 2 is you need to be on this side. It says part 2 F1 generation, and you need to have a coin. Definitely have a coin. You're going to need that because you're going to need that for probability. Remember, Punnett squares show probability for each offspring, not for, it's not an exact science, so it's always probability. What you're going to do here is the first thing you're going to do is you're going to flip to determine the sex of the offspring. So if you flip it and you get an X, it's going to, and you get heads, you have an X. If you get a Y, you have tails, and that is going to be that. Now, here's the thing. We remember that we get all of our genotypes from our parent. If the parent has 2 X's, this is this is parent number 1. They can only give an X. I do not need to flip for probability here because I know no matter what, they're going to have an X. But this one, because they're different, this is the one I'm flipping for. So I'm going to go ahead and start with parent number 1. I know parent number 1 is going to be an X, so that's mom. And so right now I'm just going to give all the X's because mom can't give anything but an X. There's 6 kids here, and she's going to go ahead and do that. And now for dad, because dad has an X or a Y, we have to look at probability. I'm going to flip it. I have heads. Heads up here says it's an X. So kid number 1 is XX. If you're XX, that means you are a girl. Okay? Then you go on to the next one. You're going to flip it again. You're going to do this 6 times. I have another head. So that means I have another X. So I have another XX, which is a girl. And I'm just going to keep doing this. Another heads. XX, and so XX, and that's a girl. Okay? And you're going to do that for all 6 of them. Okay? When you're done, you have done this part. Okay? This part right here is done. Now you have to do this part. So you need to look at your Punnett squares, and they need to make sure that they're right. So let's go ahead and use this one as an example. Here's parent 1, and here's parent 2, and you're going to do this for each one of your Punnett squares. Here, I have 2 capital B's. They are the same letter, so it's 100% probability that I'm going to get this one or this one. And so for parent 1, I know I'm getting a B. I do not need to flip for this parent. But look here, I have a capital and a lowercase. Alright, so you go ahead and you set it up. Again, you're using this data up here for the girl, this for the boy. You're making the Punnett square, but now you have 4 different possibilities. This is the tricky part. Remember that S stands for spots. And so I want everyone to take a minute and look at this. If it looks like this, she's a carrier for spots, and she's a girl, but she does not have spots. So this one is a girl, and it has no spots. This one is an XX down here. It's a girl with no spots. I'm going to write girl, no spots. This one is XSY. That's this one that says it's a boy with spots. So that's a boy, and this one has spots. And then this one is XY. It's a boy with no spots, okay? So you're going to go ahead and you're going to do the Punnett squares just like you've done them all. The only one that's a little different is this one right here. When you're done with those Punnett squares, you are going to start your probability. You need to get your coin back, your penny, okay? And you are going to now have 4 children, okay? And if you look here in this one, just like we already did, you're doing. Now, we have gone ahead, we've done probability for all of them. This one's a little different this time because you have to flip for this one and for this one. So you have to flip for what kind of S you're getting. And if we look at the directions on the other side, let's go back a page, it says that if you get a head, you get the regular X, If you get an XS, you get the recessive form, and that's tails. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to go to our first kid, and it got the recessive, so it's going to get the XS. And so for my first child, it's going to be XS, okay? Now, I'm going to do that again. I'm going to do that 6 times. So look at the next one. It's head, so it's going to get the regular X. And I'm going to put that one here. I'm going to do that 4 times. Let's do it again. I have a head, so that's dominant. It's this one right here. And so I'm going to get that one. Remember, the only time we're going to get the one with an S on it is when it is tails. And pardon me, this my pen. There you go. And this one is tails, so this one's going to get the XS. And so we're going to go to the last one, and it's going to be XS. Now, I'm going to do the same thing over here with XY, but it's just going to be XY. If I get, I'm going to go back. If I get the X, I have heads. If I do a Y, it's tails. And so I'm going to go ahead and flip. My first one is heads right here. So that means the dad is going to give a regular X. Okay, I'm going to flip again. There's tails. So this one's going to give a Y. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that all 4 times. And now I'm going to go ahead and do this. Remember that this is a girl. And you have to say if she has spots or not. So if you forgot, go back to the front page. This is her. This is what you have. She's a carrier girl, no spots. So it's going to be girl, no spots. You're going to come over here. You have an X and a Y. Look over here, boy, no spots. So this is going to be a boy, no spots. And that's what you're going to do. You're just going to go ahead and finish this side. And when you finish that side, you are done with part 3. Part 4. Part 4, which is your poster board. Now, you will not get this poster part until you are done with this and you can show it to me and show me that you've finished it. And so you want to have this finished as soon as possible. When you show it to me and I can approve that, then what I will do is I will take your paper and I will go ahead and I will mark off that you did part 1, part 2, and part 3, and now you're ready for part 4. Part 4 is you're going to get this big paper pet project right here, and you're going to go ahead and you're going to create it. Basically, you have 3 generations, and let me make this much smaller. This one is going to be the original parents. Okay? This one is their 6 children, and these are their 4 grandchildren. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to look at your paper, and you're going to go to the original one, the P generation. You're going to take this box and put it here. You're going to take this box and put it here, and then you're going to draw this out. And then you're going to turn the page, and you have 6 kids. You're going to take this box, put it here, this box, put it down, this box, put it down. So you're going to do that for all 6 children, and then you're going to draw them. And then finally, when you get to the bottom part, you're going to go to your last part that you just finished. Here you have 4 kids. You're going to take 1 and put it here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. And then you're going to go ahead and draw them. Now, what you're going to do when you're done is your project will look much like this. These are the original parents. These are their 6 kids, and these are their grandchildren. What you're going to do is you're going to look at that, and you have to make sure you show that they each have a belt with their blood type on it. You should see what kind of teeth they are, what kind of nose they have, what kind of eyes they have, what color they are, and you have to have something that shows if it's a boy or girl. This shows that it's a boy, and this person drew a crown to show it was a girl. Okay? And so this is project 4. All you have to do for the part 4 is actually color it and label it, and you will be done. That is part 1, 2, and 3, and 4 of the project. What a completed project looks like is this, and I'm going to take one that's been completed. If you'll notice here, here's the beginning, part 1. They have their pet, and they have it labeled, and they have their letters chosen up here. Okay? Here, we have our P generation and our Punnett squares. Next, we have our 6 children. Okay? Then, when I turn here, I see that this is the mate. I chose one of my boys, and I circled it, and she chose this boy, and it's circled. And his information is going to go right here. You are then going to do their Punnett squares, do their probability, and fill it in with their 4 children here. And then part 4 is you're going to go ahead and create this poster. Now, all of this needs to be done by Friday. On Friday, we will be doing the reflection part, and that is the last part. For those of you that are listening that were gone on Friday as well, what you're going to have to do is you are going to have to create an essay that's 3 paragraphs. Use this page for your planning. You need to have an introduction that has a thesis and your 3 big ideas. Paragraph 2, you should compare the 3 generations. What do the traits look like? For instance, I can look at this and say, you can look at all the blues. The majority of your family is blue. There's a couple of people that are yellow. And what's interesting is in the P generation, the original generation you had yellow, it looked like it skipped a generation and then it showed up again here. And that would be pretty indicative of a recessive trait. You can just analyze it. Of my 6 kids, I ended up with 4 boys and 2 girls. Of my 4 kids, 50% boys, 50% girls. And so what you're going to do for that second